Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we are going to look at War Machine from Iron Man 2, the movie series. It's an exclusive. I picked it up at Walmart, so it must be exclusive to Walmart. I haven't really seen it anywhere else. So we have a quick look at the packaging here. What else we got here? Snap-on weapons. Awesome. If that's all the gimmick is, that'll make me very happy, because gimmicks tend to suck. On the side, it says Avengers Assemble. That's interesting, because we know eventually there's going to be an Avengers movie, and it will feature Iron Man, but it would be awesome if it had War Machine in it as well, at least in some capacity. On the back, we've got some of the other figures you can get, and you are told to collect them all, so I guess we have to do that. We've got Iron Man Mark 1, Iron Man Mark 4 with some kind of missile launcher, the War Machine, which we're going to have a closer look at, and then Deep Dive Armor Iron Man. Why? I guess why not? Because we need more figures that are called Iron Man to make sure the kiddies buy them. Another picture of Iron Man there, which I think is the mirror image of what we got up here, just to make sure we know it's part of the movies. So that was our look at the packaging for War Machine. I'm going to find something ridiculously sharp. I'm going to cut this thing open, and we shall have a closer look at War Machine. So, I'll be right back. Okay, so here we've got War Machine. We can have a closer look at him now. We'll start off with his color scheme. You know, it's kind of a dark gray, almost black color. Silver highlights, maybe, you know, a dark gray figure on a blackish dark gray background wasn't the best idea in the world I've had. Anyways, we've got the silver highlights on different parts of him, which is nice, and we've got the power center there with the red on it. Same with his repulsor blasts, or I guess the palm-mounted weapons. I don't know if they're, well, they're probably repulsors. Let's face it, I haven't seen the movie yet. And his eyes, we can just get the glint of red there. Like he's very, very angry. But let's face it, you know, red on the black and silver color will look a lot better than the blue. But then, as we've discussed before, I don't really know bugger all about colors. Okay. Now, the mold itself is absolutely amazing. Just the amount of detail. You can just see it even now. All the different armor plates on his leg. When you bend the knee, he's got this big knee cover there, and he's even got a smaller one inside. We can see on the back how it's supposed to look. It almost looks like it's supposed to be a softer mesh for the joint. He's got plates over his ankles. We can see the treads on his feet. Heavy duty kind of stuff. Even the different armor pieces on each of his fingers. He's got the weapon here. And his face, you know, it kind of looks like the way, I guess, a dark colored Iron Man would. Very similar to how he would look. It's pretty awesome. So, in terms of detail, it's absolutely amazing. In terms of articulation, before we get to some of the other stuff, well, he's pretty good. His head doesn't move a whole lot. It moves a little bit side to side and just barely a little up and down. And it's largely because of some of the other things obstructing his head. We've got these shoulder bits here, which keeps his head from moving back and forth, but we can move his head a little bit around there. These shoulder plates go up so that his arm can go up and then back down, and it can move forwards and back. It's on that little ball joint, so we can move that pretty well. The upper arm here, that's a separate joint on its own, so we can rotate that all the way. His elbow has the double joint here, so it can bend. I want to say all the way, but not quite. It's just too much stuff in the way there. His hand, we can rotate at the wrist. And, as an added benefit, we can move it down and then up, which is nice. It's one of my gripes about the smaller Iron Man figures, so it's nice to know they've changed that with the larger one. Even though this is War Machine, but it's in the same line. I'm sorry. Upper torso, we've got the rotation here. We can move him pretty far, not all the way over. Well, maybe. Oh, there we go. We got the full spin. That looks weird. But it takes a little bit of effort to do so. It's probably very much loosening the joints while I do that. Now the hips, we've got that kind of ball joint there that a lot of these figures do. So right now we've got him doing a side kick. We can put that back down. We can turn this over and shift the whole ball joint over, and now he can move his foot out a little bit, and then we can push back. But let's see if we can put that back in the standard, I don't know if I want to say standard, but normal position. He's got the double joint for the knee, so we can bend pretty far that way. And it still looks like he has a knee in there instead of, you know, just a big gaping hole. And the ankle does move, the foot does move on the ankle joint. It looks like it's kind of a ball joint. We can move it forwards and back a little bit, and it does rotate. But these leg plates, these armor plates over the ankle get in the way. And of course the opposite side will do all the same thing. Now, some of the other features that he has, before we get into some of his gimmicks, which is the snap-on weapons, he's got this cannon at the back, which I had kind of in a rest position, but we can fold it up now. Got a full, pretty much range of movement here. We can shoot people in front of us, shoot somebody's kite above us. We can shoot people standing in line behind us at, I don't know, the video store. Does anyone go to video stores anymore? Anyways, we can do all that stuff. Now, the thing that's also kind of neat about it is if we look at this bar here on the back, we can take this mini gun and shift it all the way over to the other side. Why we'd want to do that? I don't know. I think the stereotype, or the way he's usually done, is with the gun over his left shoulder, but at least now we have the option, right? You know, in the package, they put it right on top of his head. So, we'll have it there like that. Now, for his gimmick, which is awesome because it's not really a gimmick at all, he has snap-on weapons. So, we can take this piece here, looks kind of like a belt. There's a hole for it in the back. We can put it in there, and then we can put the opposite end into the cannon. There we go. So it does now look like his, I don't want to call it a Gatling gun, but the cannon on his shoulder does have bullets being fed into it. Which, I don't know, does it have missing most of the time? Do we usually have that? I don't know. But now maybe we'll give it a sense of believability. I don't like saying realism, but we have that. Now, it does, that thing does make it a little bit harder to pose the cannon. And if you're not careful, we are going to pop that thing out really easy. But there we have it. The other thing we can do is that this shoulder piece here, we can pop that out. And we can take this little mini missile rack here, and we can pop it in there instead. Which again, War Machine we generally see with the one cannon on the one shoulder and this little missile pod on the next. Although, to be fair, I don't particularly like this one. It seems like it should be, you know, a fair bit bigger. It seems like it was added just for the sake of adding it. Don't really care for it. We can get rid of that. And we'll put this piece back on. So I can do it. There we go. Okay. So the other thing that this Iron Man War Machine figure can do, which I believe all of them in the line can do, is that, hey, we can pop out the hands. So now we have a big gaping hole. Get rid of that one too. And the reason we can do that, if I set him back here for a second, anguishing in the fact that he no longer has hands, is that in the package he has a whole bunch of extra hands. So besides the ones that I just had on him, we've got ones that are open, which would be, I guess, reaching, or, you know, the repulsor blast. And then we saw one of these before, 2 fists. What's really nice about the fists, if I can focus there a little bit, is that you can still see the repulsor blaster flight stabilizer in the palm of his hand. And then the last 2 that we can look at are more kind of at rest position. So we can change those around, and we can make them have whatever kind of hand positioning we want. And all of them have that ability to go straight up, which is kind of nice. So he can do a regular, if I can move this shoulder plate out of the way, repulsor blast like we would expect him to be able to do. Now, I don't know if he's going to use that or not, but given that they're flight stabilizers, they could probably serve the same purpose. So there we go. It's awesome. I just love the fact that they gave that extra little bit of posability for the hands. It certainly adds to the character. You can give him much more dynamic poses this way. And again, no stupid gimmicks, missile launchers, or any of that garbage. Just some extra parts to make him look cool. So what do I think of this figure? You know what? In terms of a grade, this figure gets an A. He is excellent. He's got awesome posability. The mold is awesome. The colors are awesome. He looks like War Machine is going to come and kick the crap out of you. And he's a very solid figure. It's relatively heavy. The plastic is a little bit soft, but it sits very nicely. But anyways, I think I'm just about out of time. So there you go. That's War Machine from Iron Man 2. Class dismissed.